power of the Holy Spirit anointing to be in this place, to have his way, to lead and guide us into a worship in which we will edify your church body and glorify your holy name. We ask also not only myself, but the people that's here that will bring forth a word, that we will be able to be used by the power of the Holy Spirit anointing, where we will worship you in spirit and truth. We thank you now, Lord. So, Father, we turn it over to you. These things we pray, the name of your darling Son, Jesus. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
My brothers and sisters. On the chair, and whereas I come down and all my sermons and everything else is designed for y'all. So I got something special designed for you today, and I want you to pay close attention. First of all, I want to ask you a question. Which one is it? What? A preacher. Boy, I love you. Amen. Now, that's which one is it? What is that? Really? And what they do? I ain't mad. I don't know what that is, babe. I'm gonna give you something. I'll let you be a turtle. You wanna be a preacher? Two in a row. You say a preacher, I'm gonna take you up the run. You don't remember? Was your mouth hurt? Got some in? Toothpaste? So, what you wanna be? You wanna talk to me later? What you wanna be? Hey, how you doing? You know what you wanna do? You tell me anything right now. You can always change your mind. You got plenty of time. You know what you wanna be? Really? You already a little body. So cute. What you wanna be, baby?
Yeah.
A doctor. Okay, you got time to make up your mind. What you want to be? A football player. Be a ball. You might have what's going on. You shaping up to be. Man. Good. Well, got some sports within the house. All right. Some sports within the house. You want to be, my man. You want to be. Because you didn't come up here and make you look over. You know that, don't you? And you, my man? Boy, I love that, a dentist. That's what I'm talking about. See, I love dentists. And you, sister? What? Physical therapy. I don't know if my boss thought I want to be. I got one child and she's 14 and I don't know what she want to be. She's smart enough to be. She told me once a vet. I don't even really. Well, amen. My brothers and sisters, in our text today, it comes from Matthew chapter 4, verses 12 through 23. So let us turn to Matthew chapter 4, verses 12 through 22. I have something in store for y'all today, so I won't be long. Matthew chapter 4, verses 12 through 23. You have it, say amen. Amen. You need some more time? I need some more time. And it reads, Matthew chapter 4, verses 12 through 23 says, Now when Jesus heard that John had been put in prison, that he departed to Galilee. And leaving Nazareth, he came and dwelt in Capernaum, which is by the sea in the region of Zebulun and Naphtali. Verse 14. That it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by Isaiah the prophet, saying, The land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali, by the way of the sea, beyond the Jordan, Galilee of the Gentiles. Verse 16. The people who sit in darkness have seen a great light. And upon those who sit in the region and shadows of death, light has dawned. Verse 17. From that time, Jesus began to preach and to say, Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. And Jesus, walking by the Sea of Galilee, saw two brothers, Simon called Peter and Andrew his brother, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishermen. Then he said to them, follow me, and I will make you fishermen of men. Verse 20. They immediately left their net and followed him. Going on from there, he saw two other brothers, James, the son of Zebedee, and John, his brother, in the boat with Zebedee, their father, mending their net. He called them, and immediately they left the boat and their father and followed him. Verse 23, final verse. And Jesus went about all Galilee, teaching in the synagogue, preaching the gospel of the kingdom, and healing all kinds of sickness and all kinds of disease among the people. God's word for God's people. Now, my brothers and sisters, this text, this whole thing today, service today, will be from Matthew chapter 4, and verse 23. Verse 23 again reads, and Jesus went about all Galilee, teaching in the synagogue, preaching the gospel of the kingdom, and healing all kinds of sickness and all kinds of disease among all people. My brothers and sisters, in our text today, Matthew 4:23, the fact that Jesus administered healing throughout his earthly ministry, and according to the scripture, John 4:34 through 17:4, the fact that Jesus was fulfilling the will of God when he healed people, the fact that healing is God's will for us should not be surprising. God's will for us is to always be well. The fact that sickness and infirmities that Jesus healed were not only spiritual, but they was also physical. And the physical healing was part of the fulfillment of Isaiah 53:5, which says, but he was wounded for our transgressions, crushed for our iniquities. Upon him was the punishment that made us whole, and by his stripes we are healed. Brothers and sisters, as African American people, we should not only be encouraged to seek healing, we should also be encouraged to seek ministering healing to others. Today, I read a book, and this book was by Miss Doreen Brand. And Miss Brand said something that was very significant. Miss Brand said that, and the name of the book is Healing Station. In this book, Miss Brand said, despite all the efforts that have been made to try to bring African Americans healing and wholeness to the same level as other racial and ethnical society, it still is a very big disproportionate of the health care between blacks and everybody in any other race. And she say that blacks Americans, African Americans, has been exploited. And since they've been exploited through the years in the healthcare system, that it caused a mistrust. So she said in order for this mistrust to be overcome, that we need to have a trusted institute in the healthcare system. Now, she said historically, that trusted institute always came through the church. Folks knew that they could come to the church. That's right. They knew that we live together. I know you, and you know me. And if I'm sick and I know a good doctor, I say, Jimmy, old Dr. So-and-so, he ain't expensive, and he do a pretty good job. We get treated right in this office. You see what I'm talking about? So, I come out and tell you today that as of this day, Houston Chapel will be one of those trusted institutes. I come out today to tell you that I plan to implement an annual program in this church for wellness awareness. And this program is going to be dedicated to Mr. Tommy Robinson. But I plan to have each year Wellness Awareness Month, which I will always try to make it in January, through programs like the one I'm going to put on today. Today, I have in your seeing and in your hearing 3 very intelligent and credible people. First, I have Dr. Catherine Smith from the medical field, which will speak to you. I have Mr. Tim Parks, a certified therapist, who will speak to you. I also have a licensed insurance agent here, Mr. Ashley Thompson, who will speak to you. See, this is a process to where we need to know something. Maybe I've always been reactive. When you got a doctor's appointment, I'll be there. That's being reactive. I'm coming after you done got the doctor's appointment. When you're having surgery of any kind, I'll be there. That's because you're having surgery and I'm going to pray for you before you go in. When you're sick at home, I'm going to be there. But that's because I'm coming after you. I decided today to try to be proactive and not always reactive. Maybe something here to say that's said here today might help somebody to where they won't have to go to the doctor because they already know him beforehand. Maybe they'll be able to do their therapy right, or do the right ambulatory equipment right, where they won't have to be in the hospital. And you have to realize, after all of that stuff, after seeing the doctor, after being part of the therapist, what's the best way to pay for this stuff? See, they don't let us know about health and Medicaid, Medicare. We don't have a thing, we don't know anything about it. And they don't make it easy for us to understand. We got a man here today. That's what him and his wife does, and they does it well. They're licensed insurance agents for bail insurance and Tupelo. They are good, solid folks. My cousin. And that's my classmate, y'all. This is my classmate from Atlanta. Show you how smart he is. Y'all know I made the honor roll. Showed my kids the honor roll. And I was sitting in class, and we both turned in a paper, and the teacher said, Lashley, come here. Reverend Tom, come here. I come upstairs. She said, you need to find somebody in this room that you trust to help you with this paper. I went to him. I made an A. I had to go to him. I'm not normally the dumbest person in the room, not by a long shot. And for me to have to go to him, I went straight to him and he didn't change a word. Yeah, come on, let me show you what I said. Oh, okay. I see. So I can't take no credit. It was him. I got that A because of him. So I praise God for Mr. Tim. I praise him for his family. And I thank y'all for showing up today. So without any further ado, this is our first pilot program for this Wellness Awareness Month. Hopefully we'll be able to really take off with and add more programs and expand on it once we build a new church, hopefully. But for right now, this is something. Now, one of the reasons that I wanted all of y'all to know, because just this past Monday, we celebrated Martin Luther King's birthday. Martin Luther King died because he saw something that we didn't see. He saw that one day that you and I could be just like everybody else. And today, since you want to be a doctor, I'm sure you want. See what I'm talking about? Today, I want y'all to see, since you want to be a therapist, y'all know you see him all the time at the house, you know what I'm talking about? I want to show you that Dr. Martin Luther King died for a reason. He died so that this man and this woman and that man could stand up and give back to our community. Here they are today. They didn't have to come by today. And they didn't charge me anything. They was eager and willing to come back and give to this community. And we ought to be thankful for that. And that's why Martin Luther King died. That's what Jesus was talking about when he was talking that all of us was equal. And I applaud y'all today for your sacrifice, because I go to school too, and it is not easy. It is not easy, is it, Tim? It is not easy, is it, Tim? It is not easy, is it, Tim? So I know the sacrifices that y'all made to be where you are, and I'm proud of you. And I'm proud for my kids to see what they can be. See, children can't be what they can't see. That's right. The reason why they want to be athletes, because there's some black athlete out there on that field that made the sacrifice to study it and to practice and to give it his best. And he'll, whether it's LeBron James or whether it's Chris Jones now. Y'all know that this is, be able to see yourself. I mean, you young lady, you young doctor, I'm glad you want to be a doctor. Y'all watch this woman right here. See, didn't nobody give her nothing. But Martin Luther King died, so the door will be open for her to get it. That's right. You got to get it. You got to be, that's why I told y'all, if I can make it on the road at my age in the master's degree program, I expect as much from y'all. That's right. That's right. Amen. You can do it too. You're never too old. There's never no excuse. I drive 1,000 miles. But it's important. It's important because y'all looking at me, and I want y'all to see in me what you can be too. Not just a preacher, but somebody that's striving to be the best that they can be. And I thank y'all who want to be preachers. Amen. Just give it your best you got. Let God use you is all I can tell you. So without any further ado, and y'all do have the choice to whether you want to use the floor or you want to use the podium. But first, I want to introduce y'all to Dr. Catherine Smith. Would you like to come up? You perform here? Y'all to listen. And I forgot to tell you, afterwards, we're going to have pizza, drinks, and ice cream downstairs. Just in case y'all would like to personally talk to one of these individuals about something personal, okay? Now, everybody in here owe me a quarter. Some of my money back, not just playing.
My name is Catherine Smith, and I bring greetings from Word of Faith Outreach Center in Houston, Mississippi, where I reside under the leadership of Pastor Joe and Kathy Smith. Some of you may know me as their oldest daughter as well. I see one hand in the back. I do live here in Houston, Mississippi. And my education is actually a family nurse practitioner. I'm currently pursuing my doctorate of nursing. Today I will be speaking to you all on preventative health and management. I'm also glad to see some little ones here today. I do have a few little facts for parents regarding the children. First, to begin, since this is flu season, I'm going to briefly speak to you all on hand hygiene. How many of you know the difference in between when you should wash your hands and or use hand sanitizer? Does anyone know? Okay. So, you actually would want to wash your hands when they are visibly dirty, or if you're like outside playing in the dirt, or if your nose is running. You know how sometimes you may just kind of wipe your nose so your hands are dirty. You actually have something on your hand. So that's when you would actually want to wash your hands. And the proper way to wash your hands is to use soap and water. You want to scrub your hands for 15 to 20 seconds. If you don't want to count, you can sing happy birthday one time to yourself. Most people fail to properly wash their hands by not drying their hands thoroughly. If you do not dry your hands thoroughly, what you have done is you have negated the whole purpose of washing your hands. So basically, you wash your hands with nothing because they're still dirty. So in the way to dry your hands, you want to make sure that you dry in between your fingers, top of your hand, bottom of your hands, and get your wrist as well. If you still feel a little bit of moisture, or if it's a little damp, then your hands are not dry. I remember back when I was in nursing school, the first checkout was hand washing. And I failed hand washing because I did not dry my hands thoroughly. Something very simple, so I had to redo the whole skill. But just make sure that you're drying your hands when you're washing them. And with hand sanitizer, you can use hand sanitizer when you're eating, if your hands are not dirty, if you're just like touching doorknobs and stuff like that. When there's actually nothing on your hands, that's when you would like to use hand sanitizer. And with hand sanitizer, you want to make sure that you're rubbing, providing good friction for about 15 seconds. Rub your hands until they're completely dry as well. And for children, parents, have y'all heard about the Gardasil vaccine for girls? It's now been approved for boys as well. The Gardasil vaccine is for HPV. For those who don't know what HPV is the human papillomavirus. It is a virus that it was first approved for young girls, but now it has been approved up to the age 46. In my opinion, I really don't see benefit from it at that age. But the vaccine starting at the age of 9 up until 26, now approved for age 46. That vaccine helps prevent certain types of cancers in young girls and boys. Those cancers that women and young boys can get are, for women, young girls, cervical cancer, vulval cancer, vaginal cancer, anal cancer, and this virus also helps protect against genital warts. And for the young boys, it helps protect against anal warts, genital warts, and anal cancer. This virus is most beneficial before the young child has become sexually active. So we are seeing that increase in young girls and boys being vaccinated for HPV. That shot is Gardasil. It is a 2-shot series. And I am strongly encouraging our young people to get vaccinated for that. And also, I'm going to speak on breast exams. I'm not going to ask how many women do self-breast exams, because I may be a little surprised. Okay, we have one in. But be sure that you are doing your self-breast exams. You are the first indicator of something is going wrong. You know if something doesn't look right, something doesn't feel right, or something has changed. Mammograms, we do suggest starting as early as 40 years with mammograms. If you have a strong family history of breast cancer, then we do suggest starting getting those early. I do have a family member that she was maybe around 35. She has a strong family history of breast cancer. She went to the doctor, kept saying something wasn't right, and he wasn't listening. So she went to another doctor, got a second opinion, and at the age of 35, she did have breast cancer. Had to go through extensive chemotherapy and radiology. But just be sure that you are doing your self-breast exams, because you're the biggest indicator when something is wrong. And colonoscopies, I know many of you don't like to think of colonoscopies, but we do recommend starting getting colonoscopies at the age of 50. In the African American population, we do suggest, if you have a strong family history of colon cancer, that you begin around the age of 45. The misleading thing with colonoscopies is that most people think you can't get a colonoscopy until you turn age 50. That is incorrect. If you are experiencing any type of bowel pattern changes, if something is wrong, if you know it's blood in your stool, there is a way that you can get a colonoscopy. They just have to listen to you, have the accurate documentation and the charting as far as that supports that you are eligible to get a colonoscopy. As far as the flu vaccine, have y'all had y'all flu shots? No? Yes? No? Okay. So the flu vaccine does not stop you from getting the flu. That is a common misconception that most people have. What the flu vaccine actually does is weaken part of the virus that is given in a shot. What it does is it gives your immune system like a little boost as to what the virus can actually be, which is the actual predictor, because we never know which strains are actually going to come out for the flu season. So it gives your body just a little weakened portion of what we think the strain is going to be, so that way your body reacts to it. So if you were to get the flu, you have a weaker version of the flu, the symptoms, you have a lesser duration. As far as immunocompromised people, if you have sickle cell, HIV, cancer, people that have weak immune system, we do strongly encourage that you get your flu shot yearly, as well as the pneumonia vaccine. We recommend people start getting pneumonia vaccines around age 65 and older, and for those that are immunocompromised, as previously stated. The pneumonia vaccine is a 2-shot series. First start with Prevnar 13, and then 1 year later you will get your second shot. As far as diabetes, we do know diabetes and hypertension runs very strong in the African American population. Diabetes, I do have some numbers and some handouts at the end to give you all. But as far as diabetes, depending on your age, we would like for your A1C to be around less than 6. But for the elderly population, those numbers do vary, because you do have a stronger risk of having a low blood sugar as far as it being high. But some diabetes facts for you all is to make sure that you have good fitting shoes and to check your feet nightly. I had a patient once that he was a diabetic and he was not checking his feet nightly. And for those that don't know, diabetes can cause peripheral neuropathy, which is nerve damage in your hands and feet. So most people can't feel in their hands and feet as well as others. But this guy, he was walking around the house barefooted, and he was not checking his feet nightly. And I think he worked in the factory, and he had stepped on a nail, and he had had this ulcer at the bottom of his foot that had just began to grow and became deep and infected. And by the grace of God, he actually did not have to have his foot amputated. But it is very important that you check your feet every night, look in between your toes, make sure there's no cuts, bumps, anything that looks suspicious, or anything that can become infected. That is also brings me to the other point too. Always wear shoes, because some people can't feel, so they don't know if they're stepping on pins and needles or glass or things like that. And I've actually on another occasion had a patient that had an actual like a sewing needle in the bottom of their shoe that they had no idea that they had been walking around because they couldn't feel. Also with diabetes, in case of your sugar drops, you want to make sure that you have an emergency glucose kit. You can get those from pharmacies, and your primary care doctor can prescribe those. But what an emergency glucose kit is, it is basically a kit that has like little sugar tablets that you can give yourself if you were to, well not yourself because you're probably unconscious, but someone, a family member, that could give you these tablets in case your sugar drops too low and you become unconscious. So it's also important that a family member, whoever you live with, that they know where to locate an emergency glucose kit. Some facts for diabetes: you want to be sure to watch your carbs. Most people think that, oh, if I just don't eat sugars or sweets or drink a lot of sugary drinks, that I'm fine. The greatest misconception with that is carbs. Carbs are broken down into molecular sugars. So carbs are where sugars can sweep into your diet that people don't watch them. Biggest things is people eat a lot of breads and pastas, not realizing those contain a lot of carbs that are broken down into sugars. So those are hidden sugars for diabetics to watch out for. Some complications for diabetes that people should know: nerve damage, which is peripheral neuropathy. Some men experience erectile dysfunction, infertility in some women, amputations, strokes, heart attacks, vision loss that can lead to blindness, infections, poor wound healing. And another great disease that is very prevalent in the African American community is hypertension. My greatest concern with the African American population is that we do not take hypertension as strongly as we should. What we're seeing now is children your age, are coming in with high blood pressure. And over the years, they're not being managed or watched, and we are seeing an even greater number in young African American men around age 20s and 30s having heart failure because of not having their blood pressure treated and managed like they should over the course of years. An example I have is I have a younger brother. He's been taking blood pressure medicine from the age, I think he was in 8th grade when he started. And how we found it was because he played football and he broke his leg, so he had to go to the doctor. And we just saw that his numbers were high, so they followed him over a course of time, and he got started on blood pressure medicine. Until today, he is doing fine by the grace of God, and he still takes his blood pressure medicine. And I have to stay on him because we just do not take blood pressure as serious as we should. An optimal blood pressure number that we would like to see is less than 140 on the top and less than 90 on the bottom. And those numbers vary according to the elderly and comorbidities such as diabetes that the elderly may have. Complications of high blood pressure that we see are stroke, kidney failure, heart attacks, heart failure, and in some men, erectile dysfunction, which leads me to another topic of men not wanting to take high blood pressure medications due to erectile dysfunction. My opinion on that is take your blood pressure medicine. There are much more complications other than erectile dysfunction to worry about. And there are other medications that can treat erectile dysfunction as well. And for the men, prostate exams. I know y'all don't like to get your prostate exams, and you probably cringe at the topic of even bringing it up. But we recommend getting prostate exams around the age of 50 and around age 45, depending if you have a strong family history of prostate cancer. Signs and symptoms that something may be going wrong and to seek further evaluation is if you have having a change in your urine patterns, such as dribbling, painful urination. You may notice some blood in your urine, hesitancy in going to the bathroom more frequently. So, some healthy heart advice that I have for you all is to try to exercise a minimum of 30 minutes a day. It doesn't have to be consecutively 30 minutes. You can break it up, 5 minutes here, there, walk in place, jog. If you have stationary bikes at home, that works well. Try to decrease your diet in high fats, high sugary drinks, breads, and alcoholic beverages. Alcohol is broken down into sugars as well when it is looked at molecularly. And that gets a lot of people because they don't think they're drinking sugary drinks. But alcohol, if you think about it, is breads, yeast that are fermenting over time. So that also is a hidden sugar in carbs as well. And smoking is not good for you. It has a lot of comorbidities and complications as well. And North Mississippi Medical Center, we offer smoking tobacco cessation classes that are free to the public. And for those that are interested, I could give you more information on that. But I think they meet on Mondays from 5:30 to 6:30. And they do offer free lozenges, which are kind of like cough drops and gums to help, and I think patches as well, that you can get in mail order that are free to the public to help with smoking cessation. And I do have some handouts on knowing your numbers, cholesterol, triglycerides, your good cholesterol, your bad cholesterol, what your sugars and your A1Cs and blood pressure should be. So any questions about anything? Alright, well that concludes my lesson on preventative health and management. I will be here after church if you have any questions you would like to ask me personally.
Isn't she just full of knowledge? People like that, you want to just turn them upside down and squeeze their head and see what all hit the floor. Thank you so very much. As you said some powerful things, things that I hadn't even thought about myself. Thank you for being a guy that is about an issue. Like keeping my feet checked and doing my proper exams on the right time. Yes, ma'am.
I would just like to say, I know something about her medical. Remember? Yes, ma'am. She worked with my doctor.
Yeah.
Tupelo.
And that's why I got people from around the area, just like Mr. Tim. You know, Mr. Tommy, right? So now, my brothers and sisters, let us move a little forward. Now we have a licensed physical therapist in the house. Let's give Mr. Tim Parks a welcome.
Good afternoon to everyone. My name is Tim Parks. Some of you might know me. I used to work in this area. I worked for Kendrick Home Health. I was in this area for about 6 or 7 years. Just kind of migrated back to Monroe County, which is where I'm from. I thank God for being here today. I thank him for Pastor Thomas allowing me to come here today. And give me your name one more time. Catherine. Catherine said a lot of things that I was going to say too, but I'm glad she said it because she has more experience with it. I get to see it. I get to treat it. As a therapist, I get to treat a lot of people that have a lot of disabilities. People that have diabetes, people that have strokes, people that have cancer. All these different things I get to treat as a therapist. As Mr. William, you can see him there. I treated him for a while, helping him with some issues that he had. What I find is that in the older population and in the younger population, we don't think about, but there's certain times a year that people have a tendency to fall. So I deal with a lot of people that fall. And so what I want to show you is that it says more than 1/3 of the population, 65 and older, will fall each year. That's a lot of people that's falling, okay?
Health insurance, but we still don't. You know, God make a way. We still are able to talk to him. It was outside open enrollment, but it was procedure steps that we could take to go past that. But we was able to help him get covered. So now that he's facing that, now he can get his diabetic medicine as needed. A lot of times we avoid getting the medication. He wanted to home treat it. You know, a lot of times when you get hurt, you want to treat stuff at home. He was trying to home remedies. He lost his toe in the process of trying to home remedies, you know. So that was the process of we being there trying to help him get that covered. and the ones of you that are not Medicare and Medicaid. When we get to Medicare, what is it that you do? I know when you're on monthly services, what is it that you do? You think about the things that you go out in the community to do. A lot of us say that we don't want to pay that money for that 20% supplement because it's other things that you want to do, but there's no cost on your health. There's no cost for your health. You can think of some things you do. I don't like putting no one on the spot. Think of some things that you do throughout the month. That little $90-something. I think most of the supplements run from $98 maybe to $130. It depends on your age and your health issue. But that helps you. You know, when you go to the doctor, it determines if you want a G plan or an F plan. It can't help cover you. You need to have this man's services if you need to go. That plan kind of help covers that 20%. This lady, when you going in there, the issues that are offered, you know, you worried about your 20%, what you gonna pay. Some of those kind of help cover. Now, what I'm getting to now is the one that's Medicare and Medicaid. You have limited benefits with just Medicare and Medicaid. Learn all the extra benefits that are given. This year, I've been excited. I've been going around knocking on some of the doors, just asking some of the people. A lot of them have been offered $3,000 in their dental. A lot of them have been offered $300 on their vision. Some of them even get $235 every 3 months just to cover all the over-the-counter prescription drugs. They're able to go see the chiropractor 10 times a year. If they're diabetic, they're able to go see their foot doctor 4 times a year. They don't have a copay for it. You know, when you Medicare and Medicaid, that's paid for you. If you're not sure if you're Medicare and Medicaid eligible, go back to your Medicaid office, reapply. You know what I'm saying? Check to see. Because don't let the benefits that are there for you, don't let them pass you by. It's our time to benefit from them. And I've mostly purposely, I focus on the home area. There's many counties on there, Chickasaw, Clay, Monroe, Ocotillo. You know, that's what I call the home areas because they're so close around. Them people I see first. But if anyone call or they send out and we needed to go, we go. Whoever doesn't need, that's what we try to do. I don't only stop when work. Some people say they work from 9 to 5. When I go to the grocery store, my ears are open, my eyes are open. I'm seeing who needs some services, who need help. I don't mind pouring out to them. God gave us a ministry for us, and I want to give back into the community. I always have bills saved. I was young, didn't always do what was right. The Lord opened my eyes, opened my ears that I could see. I want to get back into my community. I want to start by giving to you knowledge. Knowledge is a powerful key. You just mentioned Dr. Martin Luther King Day was on Monday. You know, he died. So it's you young kids. But Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Write the vision. Make it plain. Whatever it is that you want to be in life, write it in your notebook. Keep it before you. Think on it. You know, pray on it. I'm sure you might forget. The years may go by. Something else may come. Well, just scratch it. Whatever it is that you want to do, write it. Make that vision plain. Write it. Believe in it. And those of you that have any questions about the health care, I don't mind sharing anything with you. Whether you ask me today or whether you see me out in the community, you want to ask me, ask. Don't let the benefits pass you by. Too many times, and this is what I have seen. It's not you guys. I'm looking at my own race, my own colors. It's not benefiting from it. It's a Caucasian. Do you know how many of them call our office? You know how many of them come in and take advantage of the benefits that you're not taking advantage of? They take advantage. Not only that, we look at the Arab. We service their stores. We go in there. You know how many of them taking advantage of it? It's us. Our own race not taking advantage of what's at hand for us. And you know, that's when I go the extra mile at hand to kind of talk, to tell. I want us to benefit from what's there for us. I know we ain't always got the knowledge. I know that we ain't always got the best skills. I know we think everything is here, but it's not. It's before us now. And it's our job to kind of help get it out. These great people, they service in the community. When you go into the office, I know they look out for you, take care of you. They're telling y'all good information. Y'all please take care, hear from them. This young man, he just kept me talking about the exercise. God knows I can use some. I make excuses. The winter months came up on us. We don't want to get out, walk, do this and do that, but it's detrimental to your health. I don't know who may suffer from diabetes, who may suffer from back pain, this, that, and the third. Even some of the men who don't want to get the colonoscopies or any of that nature, what she was talking about, get your prostate check. All that is important. And the services that pay for that, we have resources. Find out. If you don't know, find out. Ask. I'm thankful just to be here. I pray for my wife and I we have been traveling on this weekend. Our services don't stop. We always go on to get knowledge, gain knowledge. We have 2 kids there in the home. It's easier for me to jump up, throw some clothes on and come without her trying to get the kids together and try to make it. So we do have another obligation on this evening. So I came without her. I don't never want to leave. First of all, the door and opportunity was open to us prior. And I mentioned to him that, you know, I thought we had some other obligations, but I don't never want to leave a door shut or closed, not being able for you guys to know the knowledge that is ahead of you. A lot of you may know me, may know my parents, but please feel free. If I do have to leave because of the other obligation, I will leave my cards here for you guys to take the card and call. If you have any questions, please ask. Even if you see me in the community, even if you want to sit at an appointment, I'm not confined to an office. I'm confined into the community, but I do go into the office. I go into the office from 9 to 5 when I don't have to be in the community. My main focus and purpose is to help the people. You know what I'm saying? What can I do? The Lord gives it into my heart and my mind. What can you do to help the people? You know what I'm saying? The thing I want to ignore it, go on. How many of you know in obedience, when you don't obey God, your blessings are cut short. You know? So I have not been obedient always, but what can I do to help the people? You know? So when I look at a lot of you guys, when I look around, what can I do to help you? Don't feel shy. Don't be embarrassed. Ask questions. If it's not only to me, ask him. Ask her. Knowledge is in front of you. Even when your kids and your grandkids, ask questions because that can even help them. A lot of them have been laid off work. We got knowledge even when you get laid off work. Health insurance will cover you past that job. How many of you know we got 560 some people is what I've been telling people at the beginning of the season that don't have health insurance cover. Well, 560 people that don't have to pay for the health insurance cover. Now that number has climbed even higher than that. That was at the beginning of the season of 2019. 560 people that don't pay for health care coverage through some of the funds that we offer. They're not only that, they're able to pay for the doctor. When they go to the doctor, don't have to pay anything. They go to the drug, they get the drugs, you don't have to pay anything. A lot of that apply to you. A lot of that even apply to some of your children at home, nieces, nephews. We all have somebody we tied to in the community that these information may be able to help. Even some of you that have friends that you talk to on the phone, some of them are Medicare and Medicaid. We have some of those benefits that can help them. Even some of you that are some original Medicare may want something to help cover that 20%. We have knowledge to kind of help cover that. You need his services. You need her services.
Well,
and we are here to kind of help you get those services.
Well, I need to ask me, my husband is on Social Security,
Yes, ma'am.
and we get Medicare,
Yes, ma'am.
both of us together. They won't let us have anything because they said both of us are together. They lie us so much that we can get.
Yes, ma'am.
Because they say we get our money together.
Yes, ma'am.
We have more. And every year they give us a raise. And they deduct that raise that they give us and put it on our insurance. We have to pay insurance on that.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you are Medicare.
Yeah, Medicare. Me and them both Medicare.
Okay, now you do have insurance. But have you guys got anything to cover your 20% on your?
No, we don't really have anything covered out 20% not right now because they told me a certain amount I could cover my 20%. And I think back when he tried to get his with the condition that he was in, they told him that he couldn't get no more insurance. I understood this later. I had somebody come out here and talk to me about it. But on this condition that he had, that it wouldn't cut it. So they told me they could cover mine, but
That was on your supplement, correct?
okay. That was on my Medicare. I have a supplement. They told me on supplement. They told me they couldn't cover his supplement, but they could cover mine because I wasn't in a pre-condition for health wise, but he is.
Well, you know, when you're on Medicare, it is sometimes inconvenient. Sometimes when your health issues get past a certain limit, they do ask health questions.
Oh yeah.
And when it's best sometimes when we aging into Medicare to go ahead and get that supplement before some of the health issues get too far gone. When no health issues are too far gone, sometimes we can't get it. I have a mom and a dad. My mother, my dad was able to get that 20% coverage. My mother is not. So my health issues kind of went past the point, and we are, as being as broke, we're able to shop around in more than one community shop for health care coverage, and I was not able to do that. So we had to go back to a Medicare Advantage plan. Was her feelings hurt? Yeah. Was my feelings hurt? Yeah, because I'm fighting, you know, not only for you guys, but for my parents as well. You know, at the age of 65, they do a free look for someone who has not ever applied for it. At age 65, you get a free look, whether you have those health conditions or not. I encourage you to get it then. You know, if you got a history of it being in your family line, go ahead and get your Medicare supplement and not go to ask any questions.
Okay, so we messed around and we didn't get it.
Yes,
He
ma'am.
messed around and got real sick of it.
But each year, they do a, what they call, we come out and we do a review. That's come from October the 15th to December the 7th. In the review, each year, they tell us we are knowledgeable on different, I guess, Medicare Advantage plans and different things that Medicare offers. So maybe something new to come up. We don't find out about this in September. August and September, we're only able to offer to you during the month of October. So if you see our commercial, give one of my number, my card, call. I'd love to do a review with you, and we can kind of tell you what is being offered during your season. This year, when I was telling you about the $3,000 dental, 300 vision, and 235, that's something new to this community. They have never done this before. And I know everybody may not be able to benefit from you, but those who are eligible for it, please apply for it. Get what's at hand.
Yeah, well, I checked on it again this year,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
they said we were there.
Don't give up. Don't stop.
Okay.
Don't give up. Don't stop. Just because it wasn't available for you today or this year, don't mean it's not going to be available to you tomorrow.
Okay.
We don't never know what's new coming out for the next year, next day, until right before the season opens. And I wish that they would allow us to host events to tell, but a lot of you get trouble and bothered, because even doing Medicare, people are going to be called. Call. That's what they do, call on the phone. But I don't like to be the one to call on the phone. I want to give you a face to talk to, because if you talk to the one over the phone, when that season is over with, you need someone else to talk to, ask questions. You have to stay on the phone for 30 minutes just to get someone. At least if you did call me, and if we did service you, you did call. If you couldn't get me directly, you would get a voicemail. You don't have to stay on the phone for 30 minutes just to be there, and we'll call you back and give you the information. Need someone to come out? We will. We even have calls to doctor office for some of our clients. You know, because we know when you get your Medicare aid, it's easy to get, I guess you can say, get from body. You don't have the patience. So we have the patience to kind of call some of those doctors kind of work on your behalf. And not to say anything bad, but you just get trouble involved with medical issues and talking to doctors, being on hold. So that's something that we do. We fight on that part of things. Any other questions? Well, I thank you guys for allowing me to come once again to speak before you. Like I said, I will leave my contact information here if y'all have any questions. I do have to leave. Thank you. Like I said, if you have any questions, I'll be continuing with what's going on in your neighborhood. You even see me in the community. Feel free to ask. Thank you all.
Wasn't these people full of information? See how important this is. And again, like I say, once we into the new church, we can expand on this. We can expand on this in a powerful way. Because again, knowledge is the key. Man's a terrible thing to waste. And when we don't have any indication of any of the stuff that these people that came by to tell us, then we fall short of the resource that's in our community. You know, these are people with information that's ready to bring it forth and share it with us. And they're absolutely right. We missed the mark on a lot of things. She's right. There's a lot of things that we know better. We just think better. We use in home remedies and all this kind of stuff. And we need to pay more attention to what's really beneficial for our health. Just like he said, it's just a common fact that there's just some things we don't want to give up that would help us in our homes, like the throat roads and the toys and using our ambulatory equipment in the wrong manner. Just like he said, there's always going to be, ain't nothing free nowadays. Nothing free but my way of wishes for you. That's about the one thing free. But, yeah, I'm telling you. But we're going to always have to find a way, and the best way to pay for these things. So I want to take the opportunity right now to thank these three individuals, these three professionals for coming in and sharing their knowledge with us here at Houston Chapel. Let's give them a big Houston. Now, my brothers and sisters, as I was saying before, as we come to a close, it's almost 1, but we're having pizza and ice cream, drinks downstairs, and you can first kind of come up if you want to ask some of these people a little something personal, walk up to them and ask them. So, there's nothing else to bring to my attention. Let us stand for the doxology.
Praise God, whom our blessings flow. Praise Him, our Don't get to you to speak.
Hey, I'm laughing too.
I cut down. Hey, give me a cup of my ice cream, please. Okay, thank you. Hold on.
Come here.
Now you sit down, man. I get you some. What you more? Hey, Will, take them boxes off. Stop, Will. Stop. What kind of people just people thinking about?
You said you're not from the same family tree?
Yes, sir.
All right. You know me, you don't know me. Go, Ada had to tell me. I guess I seen you that many times since you. Ada said, "Let's catch the vote."
Grew up on. Her mom and dad when she was here, but they just said,
All right, have a good day.
You today.
I ain't say nothing this time, I ain't got nothing.
They both be giving something in Houston, don't they?
Oh, they supposed to be doing, they supposed to be giving a party for him at the bank.
But
So I heard, and everybody wonder how come they didn't send him, they didn't send him tickets, but they can't bid all them tickets like that.
okay,
He got $2,400 for one person.
that's right.
And then he got his two boys to get there, and he got their mamas to get there, you know. So, he didn't like him to get anything.
Okay, she got there.
She got there.
Okay, then the daughter a while ago. Okay, well that was
She
good
come
then.
out here and told me,
Cause they probably ain't coming down. Okay.
well,